How's NGA? Are you still optimistic?
I'm very disappointed with the initial decision that was made. We've looked over that report very carefully. It was poorly written. There are references in there to St. Clair County, Michigan, and St. Clair County, Missouri. It looked to me many aspects of this were not done as carefully as they should have been. And we think the fundamental decision was wrong, just plain wrong. In terms of the security of this facility, there is no safer place to put it than next door to Scott Air Force Base in Belleville, which it contains now today some of the most secure facilities in our region, if not in the state of Illinois. Secondly, we believe that this notion that the best college talent will not come to our side of the river is just plain wrong. It's an eye-opener perhaps to the federal government to realize we have Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville and many other universities like the University of Illinois that are ready to supply the people with the talents to serve this important national asset. And I would just say it is not beyond the realm of possibility that people from the Missouri side of the river could safely drive over here to work and have a good environment to work in. So we think their decision was wrong and it was poorly written, and we are asking them to reconsider it. Whether it's a long shot or not, we want to be on the record to say that we can save money for the taxpayers of America, create a more secure facility near Scott Air Force Base, and the reasoning behind the choice of St. Louis for this facility we think is just wrong.
Are there any further meetings scheduled or anything?
Well, we had a big meeting in Washington a couple weeks ago and brought together all the principals. Terry was there. Came out to Washington and we discussed it at length. There has been a thorough analysis of that initial report, and there are so many shortcomings and mistakes in that report that we are asking to step back and at least reconsider some of the key aspects. So we'll see how this turns out, but I believe the deadline is soon, if it's not a day or two.
The comment period was Monday, I believe.
The comment period is ended.
And Senator, you'll be meeting with Cardillo and the Army Corps scheduled for next Thursday.
Okay, I'll be meeting in Washington to discuss this face-to-face with the gentleman who made the decision.
Senator, if Director Cardillo upholds his original decision, what can you do after that, after June? I think June 2nd is when he's going to make his final announcement.
I don't know that there's another appeal, to be honest with you. And I think what they're going to find, we believe what they will find as they decide to start looking with more detail to the St. Louis location, that they've overlooked some critical elements. And it could be that the cost element will start to change pretty dramatically. So we'll be watching this as it unfolds. We know that the initial decision was in favor of St. Louis, but there were assumptions in that decision that we do not believe are valid.
What would be the major factors that drive up the cost element?
Security is one of them. When you look at the perimeter of security that's necessary for this type of facility, that is one of the major things that they have to take into consideration. So we'll be watching it. We think the construction, acquisition of the land, the construction, all of this, you understand, on this side of the river, we were giving this acreage to the federal government. St. Clair County invested in it to make sure it could be used in the future and was prepared to give it to the federal government. And now Missouri and St. Louis are going through a different process. We'll be watching it very
Are you
closely.
very optimistic that Director Cardillo will change his mind?
No, I think it's a long shot. I don't want to overstate this, but I do believe that the arguments that we're raising go to the heart of his rationale for this decision. And the reason I say a long shot is historically, appeals do not change the initial decision. But in this case, I think we have a solid case to make, and I hope that Mr. Cardillo will come to it with an open mind.